Macy's has savings designed with you in mind. A $2,000 Chesterfield leather sofa, now $999. Handmade Chinese 100% wool rugs, $399. 50% off a huge assortment of bedding. And Magnavox's 20-inch TV with remote, only $299. Thursday through Saturday at all Macy's in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware.
We're at Macy's, and we're a part of your life.
Mom! When disaster strikes, what kids need is a great big hug and a squeeze of Mediquick antibiotic ointment. Mediquick has 3 antibiotics. Mediquick, for quick protection against infection.
When you hurt, turn on the heat. There's no beating, deep heating. For soothing warmth, penetrating relief of minor arthritis, pain, and stiffness, turn on the heat. Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub. There's no beating, deep heating.
Chances are eating an entire Sara Lee pound cake right now would be inappropriate. But eating an entire Sara Lee pound cake snack wouldn't.
Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee.
Nothing's more dangerous than being alone with an entire Sara Lee chocolate cake. So we're introducing our snack-size cake. That way, it's only a little bit dangerous.
Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee.
We tried to make our Heinz home-style gravy just like your homemade.
Oh, really?
We made it with real beef and beef juices, just the way you do.
Oh, yeah?
We even seasoned and simmered and stirred it till it was like your own homemade.
Well, it's close.
Oh, yeah? Where are the lumps? Oh, no.
Heinz home-style gravy, so close to homemade.
We're looking now at the commander of the troops with the Army staff and Pershing's own band and a contingent of cadets from West Point, the military academy, West Point, New York. You talk about precision. One of our military academies. I had the opportunity not too long ago visiting West Point to tour the grounds, and you are truly impressed by that facility and the graduates that they've turned out.
And stately look, and there followed, look who's coming, Dave, the 3rd U.S. Infantry. 3rd Infantry representing the U.S. Army. Dressed in their military garb. Still looking here at the U.S. Military Academy, the cadets from West Point. There's the 3rd Infantry, representing, of course, the U.S. Army. Dressed for combat. You can see also, the right of your screen, Philadelphia International Airport. The president has arrived. See his plane there? U.S. Air Force One has touched down at Philadelphia International Airport, and in just a few seconds, few minutes perhaps, we'll be going to Jim Gardner, who will then be taking us to the airport and the president's arrival.
Lisa, this is Jim Gardner. Why don't we do that right now as we have focused so much today on the 3 different branches of government, the judiciary, the legislative branch, and the executive. Right now, time to focus on the executive branch of government with the arrival of President Reagan, who will combine some pomp and politics in Philadelphia today. Action News reporter Rob Jennings is live at Philadelphia International Airport. Rob?
It's quite an impressive sight here. Of course, it's been raining on our parade all this morning, and it's been raining on our heads here at the International Airport until just about 5 minutes ago when the president's plane touched down. It's a beautiful bird, a Boeing 707. It's quite a thrilling sight to see it in person here. President Reagan will be getting off momentarily, and we're also expecting White House Chief of Staff Howard Baker to be traveling with him, and I wouldn't be surprised to see, well, there's Edwin Meese coming off the plane right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pennsylvania's 2 Republican senators, Alan Specter and John Hines, traveling with the president today. Mayor Good, of course, is not here because he's already at Independence Hall. But greeting the president now will be, on behalf of the city, will be D.A. Ron Castile and the Attorney General of the state of Pennsylvania, Leroy Zimmerman, waiting at the bottom of the staircase.
Rod, can you hear me?
Barely. The noise here is tremendous, Jim.
It'll be interesting to see if Arlen Specter accompanies the president. Of course, Senator Specter involved in the Judiciary Committee hearings with Robert Bork. I'm not sure he's going to be able to extricate himself from those hearings to accompany the president, but we'll see.
I'm very sorry. I can't hear what you're saying. The noise down here is tremendous. But it's my understanding, I believe I heard you say something about Robert Bork. It's my understanding that that committee, which Senator Specter is sitting on, of course, has adjourned for the day. I have just heard that Specter and Hines might be. There he is at the top of the gate. Yes, there's Hines and Specter with him.
Both there, Rod. You're right.
A round of applause from the small crowd of people who have been allowed to come in and greet the president. There will be no ceremony here, by the way, Jim. No speeches by the president. He's just going to shake a few hands, as he is with Leroy Zimmerman right now, and also D.A. Ron Castile. They'll welcome him to the city to take part in the Bicentennial of the Constitution. He will get into that limousine within moments and then be whisked away to Independence Hall. I might add that his trip here is twofold, really. It's both patriotic and political. After the patriotic portion, which will occur in just about 30 minutes as he gives a speech at Independence Hall, Mr. Reagan will be taken to the Franklin Plaza, where he will be speaking at a fundraising luncheon for Senator Hines, who is running for re-election next year. And then he's getting into the car now. Oh, look at that. Waving to the crowd. And Mr. Reagan will be back here about 2:30 this afternoon and is scheduled to be off toward Andrews Air Force Base outside Washington again. So it's going to be a very short turnaround for him, only about 2.5 hours stay in the city where it all began. The last time, by the way, that Mr. Reagan was in Philadelphia was last spring, when he was taking part in the 200th anniversary of the Philadelphia College of Physicians, and at that time he participated in a forum on AIDS. The topic, of course, this time is much less somber. The weather could have been better, but we trust that the raindrops will not cast any pall on the spirit of this wonderful day in the city of Philadelphia. So Mr. Reagan is here and will be off toward Independence Hall momentarily. Jim?
Interesting to note, Rob, that in situations like this, protocol means everything, and it was Senator Hines, not Senator Specter, who was introducing President Reagan to District Attorney Ron Castile and Attorney General Leroy Zimmerman from the state of Pennsylvania. I'm not exactly sure why that should be, save for the possibility that President Reagan will address a major fundraising event for Senator Hines later today, so perhaps Senator Hines is the president's official host in the city of Philadelphia, not Senator Specter. We'll be going back to the parade in just a minute as our coverage of Constitution Day in Philadelphia continues.
I'm Grandpa Stroman with the tastiest part of the day.
Your Stroman tastes great.
And keeps you going. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, anytime, my Stroman bread is the tastiest part of the day, and I never use artificial preservatives.
My kids love it, and I know it's nutritious.
That's because I make sure the goodness is baked in.
You're so good, Grandpa.
That's what they all say about my Stroman bread.
Let's say you're interested in low prices, and winning prizes. Well, play Bring It All Home from Acme. You could win $1,000 a month for life. Free food, instant cash, a 1988 Ford Thunderbird Turbo Coupe, and Eastern Airlines Caribbean vacation. It's easy to play Bring It All Home from Acme, and you'll have another good reason to bring it all home from Acme.
Marge, this is Mary. What are you doing? Well, put away the pot roast and get a sitter. Payless is having this huge sale. Marge, they've got shoes on sale like you wouldn't believe. Oh, we gotta hurry, though, because guess who told me about it? That's right, Audrey. So you know the whole town knows.
Right now, during our fall sale, women's casuals and booties are only $7.99, or 2 pairs for $15. Payless Shoe Source. You could pay more, but why?
Umpire? Michael Keaton leaves the office for work at home.
Where's Bobby keep the extra diapers?
And it's not so easy.
I'm losing it.
Terry Garr and Michael Keaton star tonight at 8.
I don't think you should ever forget that the freedom of this station to broadcast the show you're watching is made possible because of the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution, the words we live by.
This room in Congress Hall was the Senate chamber when Philadelphia was capital of the United States. You didn't vote for your senators back then. They were chosen for you, often by the big city bosses. At first, state legislatures appointed U.S. senators, but many legislatures were under the thumb of special interests. So were some senators sent to Washington. Reform came from western states, direct preference polls of the people. Soon there was an amendment to our Constitution, the 17th. By 1911, senators were no longer selected by a vote of city bosses, but in direct elections by a vote of the country. Another reason to celebrate a Constitution for the people. I'm Jim Gardner.
Well, the weather's certainly not cooperating. We've got another hard downpour here, and the wind's kicking up just a little bit, but the parade progresses. And we had the Navy, the cadets from the Naval Academy here moving out smartly just a few minutes ago while you were watching the president arrive here in Philadelphia. And we also had a very, very impressive Iwo Jima monument with the United States Marine Corps represented. Very, very impressive.
The Navy Guardsmen in reserve were quite a sight with their white uniforms against this gray backdrop with the sky and everything. And we're expecting in just a few minutes our 16th float of the parade, which is the Freedom House. And with it, we will meet several Medal of Honor heroes from the Korean War, World War II. So we're all anticipating that, and we'll get to it in just a few minutes.
All right, as our parade continues, there are several people that not only line the streets, but also in apartment buildings and office buildings around this area. There's a youngster, of course, who's down on ground level, but there are many of them up in the apartment buildings, office buildings, that can look down and, of course, are covered and are in the comfort of their own home, the way you're watching it probably in your TV set, but they're looking out of a building window. And they have a much better and much drier. Oh, the rain is really coming down. We have people next to it. There you go. There's some of the folks that are undercover. Actually, they're almost in much better condition than we are, Lisa, because when the winds kick up, the rains kind of come under this little canopy that we have.
We're getting a little mist, aren't we?
We are getting misted as we speak. And why not? It's the spirit of the day. Get a little misty about the whole celebration going back some 200 years.
But they do have a great view there. You see the group there waving.
Yeah, they're happy and they're undercover. And these ladies are happy too, and they're undercover. Everyone has their own little umbrella. It's the spirit.
I don't know if they're happy. I think they're grinning and bearing it.
She's smiling. Yeah, they're grinning and soaking. That's what they're doing. Well, let us take a little commercial break. The parade has come to a wet halt. The floats are literally doing that right now. We'll be right back. Constitution Day, heavy rains, winds kicking up. Oh, I wish it could have been better. We'll be right back.
It's the crust. The crust. That's why I can't stop eating the Celeste pizza. Mama Celeste has made it even more delicious. It's not too crispy, not too chewy. It's just perfect. Oh, I can't help myself. But Mama says to me, Giuseppe, you should leave some of my Celeste pizza for other people. Okay, I cut down to 1 slice a day.
Celeste, great pizza from topping to bottom.
This is LensCrafters. Our lens grinding laboratories are right here in the store, so we can custom grind your exact prescription in about 1 hour. Even bifocals and trifocals. Listen.
We got 2 pair of bifocals within the hour.
New lenses put in my old frames in about 45 minutes.
Less than an hour for 2 pairs of glasses.
These are great glasses.
LensCrafters, quality eyeglasses in about an hour. Hamilton Mall, Princeton Market Fair, and Springfield Park Shopping Center.
Eileen, who called the Fiji Islands?
Excuse me?
Who called the Fiji Islands? The phone bill says somebody called country code 679. That's the Fiji Islands.
How do you know?
I called information. It cost me 44 cents to find out that somebody called the Fiji Islands. Michael, did you call the Fiji Islands?
No, I called Connecticut once.
I called the Fiji Islands.
Why, Melissa?
I wanted to explore.
Who were you, Ponce de Leon?
I talked to a neat guy, too.
She called the Fiji Islands.
Jerry, where's the dog?
Guam. Why don't you give him a call, Melissa?
4C, the official breadcrumb of the Davis family.
You know what this is, don't you? It's a newspaper. So big it could only be the Sunday Philadelphia Inquirer. And now we deliver it better than we ever have before. We really want to show you how much our service has improved. So, get ready. A fantastic offer is about to fall right into your hands. Now when you order 8 weeks of the Sunday Inquirer, you get 4 of those weeks for free. That's 8 weeks of the Sunday Inquirer with a money-back guarantee. You get a better newspaper and better delivery, and hey, you get 4 weeks free! Call today. We promise to deliver them one Sunday at a time.
George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Betsy Ross worshiped here at Christ Church in Philadelphia. We Americans have always cherished our right to religious freedom. But in the American colonies, you were not always free to choose your church. Some colonies even established an official religion. Thomas Jefferson was concerned about our religious liberties, for he saw Baptists and others jailed for their beliefs. To safeguard our political and religious freedoms, Jefferson called for a wall of separation between church and state. Our founding fathers guaranteed that separation in the First Amendment. And since then, we Americans have worshiped in the church of our choice. And we can all celebrate a Constitution for the people. I'm Jim Gardner.
Well, that hard downpour, which we had hoped would hold off until later today, has arrived early. And it is really, really coming down. Many of the people are trying to scoot to some of the tents, the larger tents and things that set up. We are fortunate at our vantage point here in Center City on 15th near Arch as it heads toward the Parkway, makes that little bend, to be covered by this wonderful canopy. Thank God for this canvas canopy today, or we would be literally drenched like many of the people are, Lisa.
Of course, many people did come prepared, though. They have their raincoats, their rain gear, their umbrellas, and as Dave said, they are moving toward our left here, where there are some other canopies and tents raised and seeking cover there, and there are people in the buildings. They've had cover all along, so they don't have too much to worry about. And we're up to our 16th float in this parade. We're waiting for that. The rain, of course, has prompted a little bit of a delay, but we're waiting for the Freedom House, and oh, a biscuit. Those biscuits that were thrown out earlier, we got one.
Okay, there you see one of the tents set up for various people to come down. I guess that's a VIP tent
I
there.
imagine.
Some of them sitting. Look at this. They're actually sitting dry, eating and relaxing.
Well, good for them.
Why are they? Yes, good for them.
It's getting crowded under
really,
that tent.
what happened? Lisa and I, we had talked about the biscuits earlier when one of the groups went by and they were tossing what theoretically were colonial biscuits. This is actually Grandpa Stroman set this along, and you have been into this, into the munchies.
Been so tempted to devour the whole thing.
You've done it. Go ahead.
I've been
Let's
pinching.
sample.
Yeah,
Let's sample.
I can tell you it's very tasty. Stroman's did a little cinnamon number here with a little cakey cornbread taste and cinnamon. It's very tasty.
This is the lady that always has a snack. I don't know how she does that.
I do have a reputation in the newsroom.
That is good.
It's very tasty.
For snacking, yes.
We'll bring some back.
Yeah, that is good. Of course, if you're out in the rain, if you're not under cover like this in an umbrella, you end up with a soggy biscuit. And things could be a lot worse, I guess. But our biscuit is dry, and we're going to continue to nibble. The parade is now starting to get back online. We're waiting for our next float, which should be the Freedom House. Again, they're hung up there on JFK, attempting to cross. For what particular? Here they come.
We can actually see it now. Yes.
Yeah, they're starting to cross now.
Getting a little glimpse of it. More umbrellas there. It is actually raining harder now than it has all morning. But we're starting up again. We can hear the music in the background, and here comes the Freedom House right now.
This parade goes on no matter what the weather. That's the way they build it, and that's exactly what's happening. Unfortunately, the weather is not cooperating today, but the parade is impressive. Freedom House, honoring the international military cooperation, actually during the Korean War, and carries 2 Medal of Honor heroes.
And they are, Jim. We'll get a closer look in a minute. Maybe we'll actually see Colonel Carl Sitter, 1st Marine Division. He's 64 years old, a career serviceman. He was involved in World War II, in the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. Received the Medal of Honor from President Truman on October 18, 1951, for service at Chosin Reservoir in 1950. Our second Medal of Honor winner, Ronald Rosser, won the Congressional Medal of Honor for action in Korea on January 12th, that in 1952.
What an honor for these gentlemen to have defended their country so gallantly and to have been honored, and then to be here for the 200th birthday on this Constitution Day. And to give them a good feeling.
This is the Air Force Band here, the U.S. Air Force Band, followed by cadets from the U.S. Air Force Academy.
And the U.S. Air Force Honor Guard from Bolling Air Force Base in Washington, D.C. I like their sound. United States Air Force, the National Guard, the Air Force Reserve, the Color Guard, moving out smartly this morning. I'm amazed at these military groups, even in inclement weather. The precision is there. They just march. They do their duty. And there's no stopping them. What we are anticipating now is something which is extremely impressive. Our Vietnam vets, a float honoring the Vietnam veterans. After so many years of lack of concern and a not very pleasant encounter for these young gentlemen who came back from that war, who were disillusioned and suffered a great deal, now finally getting the recognition that they truly deserve. And this float also carries 2 Medal of Honor winners from that war. Extremely impressive. Again, it must be quite an honor for them to be here, to be part of this celebration, to be included.
There they are there, Dave. Brian Miles Thacker, 1st Lieutenant U.S. Army. He won the Congressional Medal of Honor for action in Vietnam in 1971, and also, I think that is, I'm not sure which is which, but the other gentleman is Walter Marm, actually of Montgomery County. Won the Congressional Medal of Honor for action in Vietnam in 1965. And as you said, it has to be a tremendous feeling for them to participate in an event like this today.
That's Mr. Thacker there, and the colonel is on the other side. It certainly is impressive monument as it moves by with the chopper in the background and the depiction of the jungle in Vietnam. As we salute our Vietnam vets and 2 Medal of Honor winners from that war.
Heroes in the true sense of the word.
The United States Coast Guard Band. All the services represented here today. We've had the Air Force, we've had the
Navy,
and the cadets, of course, from West Point. Now the Coast Guard Academy. All the services represented, the military institutions.
Here are the veterans of 4 wars.
When you talk about this country and celebrate a birthday, during those 200 years, many episodes involving various wars around the country. And we salute our veterans of all 4 wars, the American veterans traveling in the vintage military vehicle from those years. The gentleman waving. A nice response from the crowd here. You can feel the vibes going out from the people in the stands. Appreciation and thank you. Gentlemen, World War II uniforms, World War I even. Current Vietnam veterans. Yes, sir. Thank you, gentlemen. A job well done. And women, too. Our American veterans. The ladies and gentlemen of our fighting forces over the years.
See that lady there with tears in her eyes? You can tell by looking at her face what this means to her.
It's nice to see them honored. I wonder how many of the people today who have lost members of their family in the various wars and so forth appreciate the effort of the so many brave people to keep our freedom free. Promote the general welfare. That's what's coming up next as our preamble parade continues.
Another 15-foot tall scroll carrying those words that Dave just mentioned, promote the general welfare.
As visually our preamble comes to life on Constitution Day. Now the skies are starting to lighten again, and it's almost as if the sun is coming out. So it's the on again, off again weather pattern. We're not going to let that bother us. The rains are rain slopes.
It happened so suddenly, and we'll see.
Yeah, all right, we're going to take a little commercial break, and we'll be right back. Constitution Day, 1987 style.
It's delicious.
Folgers crystals.
I'm shocked.
You've seen these commercials, shot secretly in fine restaurants, but maybe you think, no one in my house would fall for that Folgers switch. Well, now you can find out. Write to Folgers Switch at this address, and we'll send you a high-value coupon for Folgers crystals and a step-by-step brochure to do the secret switch at home. Folgers crystals. Find out if someone in your home will say,
Oh, this tastes just like fresh brewed to me. I can't believe it.
Hi, I'm Barbara Mandrell, looking for the Visa tag. Here it is on clothes made from Visa, America's Freedom fabric. Made in the USA by Milliken. Quality fabric, and so easy to care for. Here's a salad oil stain on Visa and ordinary fabric. Both are dipped into regular detergent. Look, Visa of Dacron releases stains. And needs almost no ironing. So if you love that freedom, look for the Visa tag, America's Freedom fabric.
What you're looking at now, the Long Lake Gals Kazoo Band, and I was hoping that we could get a little kazoo concert from them, but it appears as if that is not going to happen. 30 members from Long Lake, New York, and they're dressed in red coveralls, having a good time. They're stepping out smartly.
Fancy legwork there. You say you're hungry, Dave? How about some dancing vegetables? There they are. Or as Joe Carcione would say, vegetables.
Right. The dancing veggies. Freedom's bountiful harvest, Lisa.
That float is, you can see the pumpkins out there. What is that, a celery stalk? Corn, carrots. There's the float carrying silos, windmills, corn stalks, and look at the big scarecrow. What a sight for the youngsters.
Yeah, there's
in the crowd
Wally
today.
Amos, too. Amos, famous Amos.
Famous Amos Cookies.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello, Wally.
How about some chocolate chips, Wally?
He really inspirits the movement in this country to be successful. What a story that is.
Oh, yeah.
Starting with this homemade cookie, and we have cookies with vegetables. I guess that's some kind of a combination. The dancing veggies.
There's a message there somewhere.
There is, yes. Brush your teeth or something like that. Here we go. Quaker City.
Quaker City String Band. Our Mummers back on the scene here this morning. 50 members of the prize-winning Philadelphia Mummers strutting their stuff. Their costumes are Arabian style. Putting a lot of color on the streets on what was a dreary afternoon. Things brightening up here a bit with the costumes and the skies a little bit. Let's listen.
Brings the crowd to life, the Quaker City String Band. Our next float is representing the arts, the fine arts represented by the Painter's Palette, masks of comedy and tragedy and other symbols. Now on this float, we have some folks here. Is that Grover?
Grover Washington.
It's our buddy Grover Washington Jr.
I
There
got
he
a
is.
big kiss from
Did you get a kiss?
Yes.
All right, good. Christine finds out about that. His lovely wife, Colleen Dewhurst, Peter Nero, the Philly Pops. There's Peter. You see Peter's back there, riding on the float. A fine